Hello, good after, I'm gonna say good afternoon because I'm used to doing this in the evening. Good morning, everybody. It's Kimberly from JB Hudson Jewelers in Minneapolis. I'd like to welcome you to our late morning webinar, introducing some of our designer lines. And this morning, I'm very proud to be here with Sethi Couture. Sethi Couture is a line that we've actually been in partnership with for a number of years, and we met them. Basically, they made an appointment, came in the store, because at the time we were not sure if we were looking for a line that what we thought it would be, and we're unbelievably surprised when they describe themselves as a band or bangle line, jewelry line. I had a preconceived idea, and this line has totally turned that around, because Sethi Couture is one of those lines that actually understands that we don't feel the same every single day, and we like our jewelry to be able to shift with us and to accommodate what we already have, and to even change how we feel, give us a lift. Sethi Couture has that perfectly nailed. So I would like to introduce owner and designer Pratima Sethi, and she's going to be on board with us here, and I'm going to let her take it away. So enjoy your little bit of a break here during the day. Hey, Pratima. You need to unmute yourself.
Welcome, everyone. Hi, Kimberly.
Good morning from California.
Good morning. Today's not as blue skies as we typically have, a little bit gloomy, but all is well.
We like that. We've got bright blue sunny skies today, and it's perfect. So nice. Tell me a little bit about your line, because as I said, we were blown away when we saw the breadth of the line and the attention to detail that has been shown in your line. And so give us a little bit of a background.
Yeah, absolutely. So the brand's philosophy is elevate the everyday, and it's very intentional. It's very purposeful that each of our designs reflects this feeling of elevating the everyday, because we feel beauty is in the small details, and it's really about appreciating those little things. So something that might seem ordinary, but celebrate it so that it is more meaningful and special. And so whether it is our stacking band that tells a story that's personal to you, or whether it's our PS collection charms that are monogrammed and really about cherishing those close to your heart, it's taking in those moments and celebrating it. So my sister and I are designers of Sethi Couture, and we've been drawn to these unique cuts and vintage cuts of diamonds and color diamonds at a very early age, with our parents being pioneers in bringing these stones to the U.S. market. What's kind of fun about our story is that both Berna and I previously were in corporate. So before we launched our jewelry line, before we started designing, I was in IT consulting and sort of have this project management background. And soon after decided I didn't want to do IT anymore. So I joined Louis Vuitton to get sort of luxury brand experience in merchandising. And my sister is an architect major, and she worked in fashion and merchandising with Abercrombie & Fitch and Gap Corporate. So it was this great mix of, merchandising, business operations, and really understanding how women wear jewelry from both a, call it a project standpoint, a fashion standpoint, and material standpoint. So it just works really well.
Oh, it certainly does.
Inspiration. I think what inspires us is not only our heritage with our family history of India, but also our California vibe. I mean, we are born and raised California, so that subtle sophistication, that more, I think, kind of like soft, fluid tones, I think it's very California, but then it's blended with this kind of rich history of India. And so it's like the intricate details. So combining those two is what you see in our pieces, and just in general, our travels. Again, focusing back on architecture, whether it's like the iron scrolls on doors in Europe and historical buildings, or whether it's the mosaic tiles in Spain, you know, all of these things, I think, is what we gravitate towards and kind of puts that smile on our faces.
Oh, certainly does.
So for those of you who are familiar with the Sethi Couture line, and those who aren't, you will definitely see this style that is very balanced, and it's balanced with it being sort of classic and timeless, but then having a modern appeal to it. You know, so it really works for how women wear jewelry today and what jewelry means to us today. So to start with kind of some of our categories, earrings is always a fun one. So if you kind of take a look at, you know, we have just sort of a bunch of little studs, but all, you know, they're just not your ordinary diamond studs. You know, they have kind of details to them. They have millgrain to them. They're blended with rose cut diamonds, champagne cut diamonds, and just adding that, you know, extra touch to your wardrobe.
I love the blush of the champagne on the earlobes.
Drop earrings are another, you know, great one, whether they're linear, hoops, and rose cuts are such a fun stone because you can get this sort of subtlety to it without it being too overly blingy, and then the contrast with the little tiny diamonds, I think, just makes for just a nice look. Here are some of our, you know, other very signature pieces. We have some statement earrings, part of the mix as well, because you need to have those for those, you know, night outs.
You absolutely, and to have a little bit of a movement on the earlobe.
Exactly. Bracelets is a fun category for us. You kind of take a look here. So it's just a nice way to sort of add a collection to your arm, that arm candy, telling that story. So here you can see just a mix of the brushed, the bezel, the rose gold, mixing different metals and shapes and patterns together. And it really creates a unique look that is for yourself. I love the better together. Nice
so many
job.
of my clients use these as a new job or a promotion or a, you know, a push present. And it's wonderful because it is a diary on your arm.
Oh, I love that, the diary on your arm. And especially if you have other designer bangles, you know, whether you have some Gurhan bangles or Monica Rich Kosan ones, these are great accents to add on, to just add that additional sparkle.
Yep, and they certainly do. They play well with others.
Yeah, I mean, I wear mine. I mean, these are like my staple, just adding that extra touch.
And I like the fact you're playing up, you can mix the metals.
Definitely. I mean, that's something we'll get to, where it's like, question we get asked all the time, like, well, can you mix yellow gold, white gold together? Or even like rose and yellow? That's an interesting one, but you absolutely can. It's all about how it looks on you and, you know, your skin tone and how it makes you feel. Necklaces. So our whole, the brand is all about styling. And so whether it's styling bangles, whether it's styling earrings, you know, and then it's about styling necklaces. So right now, sort of that messy neck is very in, but our sort of messy neck look is still very refined, you know, so each piece kind of stands out, you know, so even like the way I have it on, I have my PS collection charms, I have, you know, a little Aria, you know, cross necklace. I have the black diamond beads, which these are just fabulous.
I love those. I love those.
And you can mix and match. Sometimes you may just want to wear the one. Sometimes you may want to wear a few of them, you know, but it's all about what I think, Kimberly, you said, the mood of the day.
It is the mood of the day. It's all, you know, every morning when we get dressed, how many of us have stopped and thought, we're not going to put on what we actually picked out. I'm changing it up. I need to go another direction. And we walk out in totally different clothes than we planned on.
Yeah. Like this middle picture is a great example of those PS charms, but then just paired with a rose cut drop necklace. I mean, two very different looks, but that goes so nicely together. So this was a great campaign that we did, PS I Miss You. You know, today more than ever, of all that we're experiencing, you know, emotionally, personally, professionally with COVID, it's still this notion of we're still together, even though we're apart. And so this idea of PS I Miss You, and being able to, you know, gift that charm to that loved one, or have it for yourself, and it has the initials of whether it's your children, your parents, your spouse, but whomever is closest to your hearts, and keeping that near and dear.
Mm-hmm. I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah. Black diamond beads, as I had, you know, mentioned, just sort of that amazing shimmer, even with it being, you know, with black diamonds, and even the way it kind of contrasts on something, you know, darker. Might be a little bit hard to see, but there we go. Yeah.
They are gorgeous. Daylight or evening, those beads are phenomenal.
Now rings is our favorite category.
Hands down, no pun intended, hands down.
Favorite category. Rings just tell so much. And I think the first thing I want to emphasize is it's the one piece of jewelry that you really see for yourself. They are on your hands. You can look at them, you can admire them, you can play with them and change them around. You know, you might just be kind of sitting there and being like, oh, maybe this combination looks better, you know.
Yep.
And so rings to us is the best expression of your personality, you know, and it's the best expression of that mood of the day. It's the best expression of the diary, the storytelling. So these are some of our favorite examples of combinations. You know, mixing that black rhodium in with the rose gold gives it a little bit of that edge. The different shapes, the multicolor with the Art Deco look, you know. So you will notice yourself gravitate towards just the different styles based on your personality. Like the black rhodium might be a little more edgy, and you just want to kind of add that little twist, you know, in your wardrobe. Mm-hmm. I love yellow gold and black diamond together. I think it's just kind of, it's very rich. It's that pop. I think black diamonds just sort of break up and give contrast to some of the other pieces. So black diamonds is one where I feel like you can just like throw it in and it just changes the look.
I know that one up in the upper right there with the bubble band in the middle, it just speaks to my heart. Who doesn't love a band that looks like it has movement and has a positive negative to it that just is very sprawling, and I want that. I want that.
Our bands are also wonderful as wedding bands because, you know, I think gone are the days of sort of that traditional look, and it's about creating your own. So what better way to even represent the unique relationship of your, you know, of your wedding with that unique band that really kind of speaks to you. So more examples of kind of the black diamond and the bezel set. Bezel set is, I think, of kind of our more simple bands is my favorite because it has just, you know, a little bit of dimension to it, but it still has those clean lines, and it gives sort of a softness when you combine it with other bands.
And we are starting to see a trend where people are doing all bands, both as engagement and wedding. They're not doing a center stone. And this speaks to absolutely that trend that's happening now.
Absolutely. And then if you even think about like, you know, second marriages and so forth, you know, you want to do something different than you had done before. And so the stack bands are a great way to.
Oh, I love that power look in the upper right corner. Such strong bands. Oh.
Black diamond baguettes. I mean, baguettes have always traditionally been those side stones, you know, kind of just that added accent. We took black diamond baguettes to make them be like the focal point, you know. Yep. Let's celebrate these kind of put away stones in a more prominent way.
Oh, they're stunning.
Here is a great example of how you can mix metals. You've got white gold and yellow gold. You've got white, yellow, and rose gold, together. And especially those of you who have, say, a two-tone watch, So having a two-tone stack band combination complements that so nicely. We talked about bridal with, being these unique bands. We work a lot with opaque stones, so a little bit more organic, earthy tones, so each one of those stones are absolutely unique, one of a kind. And so that adds another flavor and dimension of it being special. More on the baguettes. So you can see we love baguettes.
I can see that. I do too. They're very sophisticated white flash instead of that.
Yeah.
They have an elongated flash of white that is stunning. It's so sophisticated.
Very true. The band that has kind of the stack that has sort of that dark band in it, that is what we call kind of like a mahogany color. So it's natural. That is how it is, earth from the ground. And it sort of has this like reddish orange tone, and it really adds something just special and unique. And that's a talking band. Like people will ask like, oh, what is that?
Well, and that's one of the things we really love about you is your diamond colors are natural.
Yes, they are all natural.
Comes through your family and your background. And I appreciate that you've kept true to that and not kind of swayed it into cost. You do natural diamonds.
Yes, they are natural. And this is a great image of, you've got the green diamonds in there, the burnt orange, and then you have this band that has like the little tiny multicolor in it. And the second band on that ring from the bottom of her finger is our yin yang band. So it's black diamonds on one side and it's white diamonds on the other. So you can kind of flip it around, have it be halfway. It's fun. A great imagery of that sort of bridal sort of look where you can have a entire stack be your wedding engagement ring combination. These are some of our new bands. So the larger picture on the right, the top one is our Darcy band. I just love the
So these are what we would have been seeing if we'd been with you in Vegas next week. But
absolutely.
I get to see the new merchandise.
And then the bottom one with the round and then the little round, that's our petite bubble band. Another great one. And I'll later on show you guys a combination of how to work that into a stack.
I love that top one. Wow, that is really cool. Oh, look at these.
Yeah. A nice rose gold with the black diamond accent, champagne diamonds, pink diamonds. And I think what all of this shows is just the unlimited possibilities. And so
it truly is. It truly is unlimited.
And you really can make it your own. And that storytelling is, and it's not just about creating a stack of just Sethi bands. It's, work with the ones that you have. It might be an heirloom piece. It might be your wedding band. It might be rings that you had purchased at some point and now don't wear anymore, but now you add our bands to it and you have this new look. And that's the fun part about it, because that really is your timeline. Like you may have purchased rings when you were traveling in Europe, and you got really drawn to them. Now they've been sitting in your jewelry box. Well, first of all, do not let things sit in your jewelry box.
Yeah, not a good place.
You have it, enjoy it, wear it. So repurpose it, add some additional bands to it, and you'll have a new look.
Oh, it's a great strong color in the upper left there.
Yeah, that's our famous Art Deco band.
Oh.
And here you go. Like this is what we call our guide, so kind of a nice way to get a first stab at like, oh, what am I drawn to? Do I like more of the rose gold? Do I like more of the green diamonds with the black rhodium kind of edgy feel? So it's kind of a nice visual to just like as a starting point of what style you may think that you would want to create a stack out of.
Excellent. So what we are going to do, as the slide said, we are going to do our favorite stacks. I'm going to start first. I'm claiming the right of being the elder in the group. Not that I ever said that. So I tend to deal with clients who do come in with the antique bands, and they have the pieces that mean a lot to them. And for me, I have this, and I'll let you see it up close, really, really wonderful, big old European mine cut band that's been in my forever. And it doesn't feel like it's enough, but yet I don't want to overwhelm it. So what I do is, I don't know if you can see this close enough.
Oh, you have the wave band underneath it.
I have the two, I'm sorry, I'm really bad at this part. I have the two little narrow bands just as diamond accents. It keeps it feeling of still like a period piece, but it gives me a little bit of a lift. Plus, since my band is a little bit too big and it's not a real sizable piece, the bands help keep it in place. So you're acting like guard bands. And then I have a wonderful Carol and Ellen band. I don't know if you can see this. It's engraved with a saying that, love me, it's to your advantage. And I put the black diamonds and the rhodium and white diamonds with it, because I think it keeps it feeling, since it's an antique language, a very old language. I love putting something with it that makes it feel like it's still old, but yet has a really cool vibe. So Jennifer, will you have you on board with us?
Hi, I'm here.
Hi, Jen.
Hey,
Hi.
she's you normally
So
behind her screens.
I know I'm such a big fan of stack bands too. For those that know me in the store, I actually don't wear a traditional solitaire engagement ring. That's just, well, not to say that's not my style, but I'd want one probably over 5 carats for me to personally wear one. So, I've chosen to go the route of, I have a big diamond band, but then I also do stack bands a lot of the time. So to show one of my favorites, I actually have my Cartier Love Ring in rose gold, and I have it stacked next to your white gold and black rhodium diamond band.
Nice.
Yeah, I like the mix of the dark with just kind of the plain high polished gold of the other piece. And even from a distance, you can see the color added into it. So I really like that.
I love that it's just the two bands. And I think that's something that always comes up is like, well, what makes kind of the perfect stack? You know, how many bands? There is no rule, you know, like some people, if, you know, you like symmetry, then it might be, you know, a certain number, but I even like just the two bands where it's just an accent.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. And another one that I actually have a really plain vintage channel set band, which it is super plain. There's not a ton of style to it, but it's a great piece to then put next to like your rose gold band.
Yeah.
And it's one of, you know, kind of that rule of mixing the more standard shape with something that's more fun. So from a distance, it doesn't look like one wide band. It looks like a mix of style.
Right. Nice.
Thank you.
I like that.
So
All right, Katrina, let's see what you've got
a
going.
few to share. So how many of you kind of have that, you know, ruby band, that sapphire band, that emerald band that just kind of sits there because you don't know what to do with it? Yeah. So I kind of put together this combination of the rope bands on either side, and then the diamond petite bubble, and then the princess cut band as well. And then the ruby is really that focal point. So especially if that band was something sentimental, you have now just embellished it and made it even just more special by adding these other rings. So this is a stack of 5, just to give you an idea like of how it would look on.
Oh, very cool.
And I think the rope bands being they're just plain gold, just really, I think, finishes it off nicely. And what's great then is sometimes you may not want to be wearing all 5. It's hot outside and your fingers are swollen and you do not need to be wearing that many, you know, rings. Well, now,
Or sometime we might actually be on airplanes again. Lord knows that's
there
where.
you go. You may just want to do the three, the 2 rope bands, and then the diamond one that we had added. So your stack of 5 now almost has additional possibilities with how you want to wear them. So
And I love the openness you achieve with having the bands with the shapes of being so dramatic and then putting flat edges up next to them. So you really get that positive negative, which is an interesting aspect on a ring.
yes, I love the negative space because I think it does allow for the rings to kind of showcase on on their own.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's one that I thought was kind of fun. And then here's another one that is back to the mixing metals. Now, this one is interesting because it's almost there are 4 different shapes. Like you have this one with kind of a triangular shapes, a cluster one, a very deco one, yet they all still kind of go well together.
Mm-hmm.
And then the same idea is when you don't want to wear 4 of them and you just want to wear the 3, kind of you can do it more like that.
The same idea of the messy neck. I think of the messy rings, the messy stack.
Right.
Completely the same idea.
That's
I've even found to myself too, when I'm out and about, especially as summer's here now and you're busier and you're active with children and going to the dog park and running around, I might start my day stacked with 3 or 4 bands, but by the end of the day, I might find a couple of them tucked in my bag because you can take them off and make them look and feel different as your fingers change throughout the day.
no,
too.
I'm the same way. I am actually guilty of, if I have moved, especially right now, moving around in the house, I'll have my, Cartier Trinity, or my this band on with just the diamond accent, with it. And then I'll find this one later on just sitting on my desk and I just have the white diamond one on. And so there's a little trail of stack bands going on throughout the day of what I'm doing.
So
Yeah.
absolutely. And I do think there's such a personality driven thing. And the fact that I can tell a bride that when she comes in that, she's got grandma's band and she feels like it doesn't look good with her contemporary solitaire. I put one of your bands on with her grandmother's band, on with her solitaire, and all of a sudden it becomes this cohesiveness. And in her head, you can just see, in her mind, you can just see this, she's linking together the past, the present, and the future, just by putting that one band in there that links all of it together. And, we don't often get those aha moments, but those are moments that I see. And those are those aha moments.
And it's also about, jewelry is about memories, right? And it's memories of the past, it's memories of right now, and it's memories of the future, especially if you're going to pass down that jewelry, to somebody. And that's, just jewelry is just so much more than just diamonds or stones and metal. It really is much more meaningful than just the physical part of it. And that's what I love about the stack bands is that storytelling. You had brought it up of saying, it may start out with an heirloom piece, then it might be a promotion and you want to celebrate that. It might be baby number 1, 2, and you want to celebrate that. And then you just kind of create that storytelling.
Well, and even given the times we have now, I have a client that I'm working with that she's bringing her daughter in to look at your stack bands. And I like, you're bringing your daughter in. She's like, well, she was supposed to graduate this year and we're not having a party. So she asked her daughter what she would like to do with the money saved from not having a big party at the house. And her daughter's, well, I would like some rings. And I thought, how perfect.
Right.
Jewelry, gorgeous diamonds, reminding you of your graduation, of your daughter growing up, of a better time than looking back and going, oh, 2020 COVID. What a better way to make this whole thing at least a happier moment in that. So
Right.
way, and she'll have those on her hand for the rest of her life. That was a moment.
Yeah, yeah. And then when she goes on to do like, great big things, like as she's wearing it, she's writing something, she's on her computer, she gets to look at that and have that, reminder of what that family time meant, during,
Yeah. It's kind of like a big hug from mom and dad.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I deal with a lot of brides who kind of go into panic mode as they're picking out their wedding ring. Because they know that the stacked look is in, and they have aspirations from things that they're seeing on social media and researching of this completed look that they want to have. So I have a lot of conversations with grooms to be that the first band is never the last band, and to be supportive of it, and to start a wish list.
Statement.
Yeah, and as occasions come up, you start adding band by band to the mix. So.
Yeah, and you're making it so much easier for the men too, right? They just know I need to get another band to go with the, stack, So that's also kind of a fun part, is to see what styles, if it's not on a wish list, what styles the men gravitate towards, because now they have an idea of, okay, these are the bands she has, so she can mix these in. So it really becomes it can become a collaborative effort of creating that stack.
Absolutely, it has. Well, Pratima, I hate to draw this to a close. This has been a wonderful start to our afternoon here at JB Hudson. I appreciate it. I welcome everybody to come in. We are open again, albeit at the 50% capacity as dictated by as written by our governor. Sorry, it's too early in the day. I can tell that right now. But
I'm West Coast time.
I know. I kept thinking, how could she be so like happy and bubbly? And I'm not even conscious at that hour of the day.
Children, 6 a.m.
So anyway, I really, really appreciate this. It's been a great opportunity for us to see some of your newer pieces, for our clients to see the breadth of your design. And believe me, this was maybe 1/10 of what you actually have. And the fact that it is such a collaborative effort between you and your sister and your backgrounds and your traditions, but yet you're looking forward with your line and your designs constantly, which I adore. Sometimes some designers just stop and they never leave that one DNA that they've always done. And you're always developing it. So the husband can feel comfortable buying the next band and knowing it's going to be a different one. So again, thank you so much. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and we will see you at the next one.
Yeah, thank you, Kimberly and Jennifer. I really enjoyed this, and
thank
you everyone. Yeah, have a good day.
Thanks, Pratima. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Jennifer. Bye, everybody.